All opinions are those of the participants making them and are not an endorsement of any position, program, religion, or political affiliation. 𝗕𝗹𝗰's Corner is for information, observations, and entertainment. I ask that you like, share, comment, and subscribe.
Things off because you're getting an echo.
Echo. Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Okay, let me try this again. All right, y'all ready?
Dr. King, in light of recent statements of Senator Barry Goldwater and, in some cases, Richard Nixon, do you think there is a real danger of the Republican Party becoming the white man's party in this country?
I think this is a real danger, and I've talked with some Negro Republicans who are very concerned about this.
I'm not able to hear anything.
Yeah, it's really low.
I understand.
Will reveal that unless the liberals of the Republican Party play a much more decisive role in leadership positions, this will become a white man's party. And I think this would be tragic for the Republican Party as well as tragic for the nation.
And
now, what was he saying?
He was saying that he was talking to the more liberal people in the Republican Party at the time, and was saying that he was afraid that in a few years that the Republican Party would be a white man's party. How prescient was he about that? He knew he saw it. He saw it. So
back then was going on now.
Yeah. So, and truth in lending, I am a registered Republican. I'm not ashamed of that. However, there's a difference between being a Republican and being a MAGA, and being a conservative and being a MAGA. There's not a distinction anymore, but I have to state that I'm more of a moderate Republican. There's some things I do like about the party. You know, I've been a Republican forever. And
you have to realize, I went to go see, somebody had gifted me a ticket to go see Sher Underwood Saturday night. And she is a registered Republican, diehard Republican, been for years. But she states similar to what you're stating. I am a Republican, but I did not vote for a Republican. It's just the fact that she's for the party and not the person.
Right. And that's been the biggest issue, is because I say this as a person that I am, and you've known me your whole life, that anyone who's totally with one party is not a smart person.
Right.
Because if you're thinking individually, there's some things that the Democrats do that I like. There are things that the Republicans do that I like. Vice versa, things that I don't like and things that I don't like. I take the things as I see them and make the best choice for me and my family. So saying that, and they just the House I just saw it pop up on my screen. The House just pushed their bill through to the $3.4 trillion tax break for the upper 1%, and people who are making between 20,000 and 100,000 are going to be paying more taxes than the billionaires. So, and they're cutting EBT. They're cutting EBT. They're cutting. It used to be aid for dependent children.
Ms. Are they cutting it down or cutting it out? Period.
They're cutting it down. They're really cutting it down. They got to cut in the Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, TANF, all of that stuff. They got to cut to save money so that the top 1%, that the top 1% can get their beloved tax cuts and save more money. And here's
I have a question. Okay. you know, I have to pay every year ever since I had an empty nest. So my thing is this: if the under 100,000 are the ones that are going to be paying higher taxes, and the ones over that 100,000 are going to pay less taxes, what happens to the economy when you're paying more taxes than you can afford to stay or eat or live? What happens to the economy because we're sitting there trying to pay taxes that we don't have?
Well, then, and what happens is, and this is just my personal opinion, just observation, that we're not going to own anything. Regular people are not going to own anything in about 5 years. That everything will be owned by somebody else,
And
and
we'll be constantly renting.
we're, they want to keep us a little dumb, a little sick, and a little hungry. Easier to and easier to manage that way. So then we do what we're told, not how to think, not how to think as a human being, because that's thinking gets you in trouble.
Okay, I'm a be devil's advocate. Do they realize that they're cutting more of the clear than they are the melanin when
Right.
they do that? For the
Oh,
simple
no.
fact, at the end of the day, more of the melanin knows how to survive. A dollar will go, we can stretch a dollar for a family of six, okay, type thing. The clear people, not a lot of those know how to do that.
Well,
So
the majority of them actually, because there are more wonderful people in poverty than there are beautiful people. However, a lot of those programs, and I agree with you, a lot of those programs were not meant for the beautiful people at the time. And once the beautiful people started to get the access to that, that's when it became bad. That's when Social Security they want to cut Social Security. Um, they want to cut welfare, and they want to cut a couple of other things. However, this is but they don't cut corporate welfare because they get more money than all of us put together. But that's a whole nother thing. Andrina, I know you're here tonight, and I appreciate you coming on. Love from lovely South Carolina, Indiana love. What was your take on that Black History thing, Miss Andrina?
I am here. I am here trying to unmute and everything else. Okay. Now, I'm going to agree with Miss Kim. Look, I'm just trying to keep my peace. It's kind of upsetting because there's another video that's floating around. And like you talked about, you being a Republican, others are Democrats and so forth. But what you choose to do, you do. But at the same time, make sure you represent your people. And I can tell you what I saw, I wasn't too proud of our people. They were loud. And of course, people other than us, they tend to look at us differently, saying we don't know how to conduct ourselves. And they truly did not conduct themselves the way I thought we should have conducted ourselves in the White House. Okay? And yeah.
they put their church clothes on. You know how our parents back in the day, when you went to church, you dressed up. Now you go to church any old kind of way now. But back then, you knew you was going to the airport. You knew you was going to the doctor's office. You knew you was going to church. You had some couth to you. But now it's just you act on any old kind of way. I get what you're saying, sweetie. I get what you're saying.
Thanks for watching. This is the man with the golden voice, the lady's choice, and of course, smooth as a Rolls Royce, saying, never make love by the garden gate, though love is blind, the neighbor's ain't.